Chag Sameach. There's an amazing statement in Tractate Tainit, which is worth probing today in Yom Yerushalayim. The Talmud states in Tainit 29 that both the Chorban Bayit Rishon through Bavel and the Chorban Bayit Sheni through Rome, both of the destructions took place on a Sunday. As the Talmud in Tainit 29 says. But both times the Levites on duty were singing the songs of Wednesday, not Sunday. Normally the Levites sing every day a different psalm. So amazing that both during Chorban Bayis Rishon and Chorban Bayis Sheni, which took place on a Sunday, the Talmud tells us in Tainus, both times the Levites got mixed up. Instead of singing the psalm of Sunday, which was the day that the Chorban happened, both times they sang the song of Wednesday. What's so important about Wednesday psalm? Psalm 94. Keil Nekamot Hashem. Keil Nekamot Hashem. God of Nekama appear. God, take revenge for all the spilled Jewish blood. That's Psalm 94. So the Levites, seeing the Chorban both times, issued a last-minute plea to God for Nekama. So therefore, even though the Chorban both times Chanoch took place on Sunday, both times they sang the Wednesday Shir, which is Psalm 94, Keil Nekamot Hashem, Keil Nekamot Ophia. Take revenge. It's a Jewish concept, to take revenge for spilled Jewish blood. So therefore they chose the Psalm of Wednesday. What's so important about Wednesday, Chanoch? They got mixed up. Chorban took place on Sunday, both times they sang Wednesday. What's so significant about Wednesday? Fast forward over 1900 years to the 6-Day War, when the IDF took control of the Har HaBayit, and those famous words from General Moti Gore, Har HaBayit B'Yodenu. What day of the week was that, Chanoch? Wednesday. It happens to be a Wednesday. A Wednesday. So the circle was closed. So the Chorban was on Sunday. The Levites sang Wednesday Shir, because the Har HaBayit, after 1900 years, was liberated and taken back from the enemy on a Wednesday. So the Levites had anticipated that thousands of years ago, and Baruch Hashem, we were zoichet to take back the Har HaBayit on a Wednesday, June 6, 1967.
No, 8.
June 8, okay, thank you. June 8, 1967. Okay, but what amazing is how many Jews lived in Jerusalem in Israel during the Mechemet HaShichrur. In 1948, how many Jews were living here, Chama? 600,000. 600,000. In Pashas Bamidbar, in Israel, I said, in Israel, 600,000. In Pashas Bamidbar, how many Jews were there? 600,000, okay? 600,000 men between 20 and 60. But what's amazing is that Yerushalayim is not mentioned once in the Torah. We're going to discuss why. It's not mentioned once in the Torah. But it is mentioned in Tanakh 667 times. You don't believe me, you can count. Not once in the Torah, Shirley, but in Tanakh it's mentioned 667 times, and not once in the Quran. What's so significant about 667? You sitting down, Sarah? When did the IDF liberate Jerusalem? 667. Okay, now it's Goyish, but there are no coincidences. June is a 6 month, right? I mean, Lazi. Lazi, but so what? There's no coincidence. Abraham was born in the year 1948, the Jewish state in 48. There are no coincidences. So if in Tanakh, the name Yerushalayim appears 667, can't be a coincidence that the IDF liberated Jerusalem on June, which is a 6 month, 67. Even though it's Lazi, there are no coincidences. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. What?
603,000. Lozi is a
Jews.
common era.
Right? Common era.
603,000 is 603 plus the 10, the growth gave you 613.
Okay, now where does the name Yerushalayim come from? So Tosfos tells us in Masechet Tainit that the name of Yerushalayim is a combination of two words. Abraham called the city Hashem Yeroeh. God, what does Hashem Yeroeh mean? God will be seen, or Hashem Yireh. He called it both. Hashem Yireh, Hashem Yeroeh. Hashem Yireh. God will see the pilgrims coming 3 times a year to the Beis HaMikdash. And Hashem Yeroeh, God will be seen by the pilgrims. So Abraham called the place in Bereshit 22, Hashem Yireh, God will see the pilgrims coming 3 times a year to the Temple Mount. And Abraham also called it Hashem Yeroeh, God will be seen by the pilgrims. And Malki Tzedek, he already called the city, we'll see soon, Shalem. So God took the name Yerushalayim. Abraham called it what? Yeroeh. Malki Tzedek called it what? Shalem. So God made a combo. You know, have you eaten a combo sandwich? Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim. So who named the city first of Abraham? Malki Tzedek. Malki Tzedek lived before Abraham. So in Chanoch, the city should be Shalem Yireh. Why did Yerushalayim? Abraham, you hear my question? Malki Tzedek lived before Abraham. He called the city Shalem. Abraham called it Yireh. So why you say Yerushalayim, you should say Shalem Yireh.
But it would be
Huh?
first, yeah.
Malki Tzedek lived first.
Yeah, but Hashem,
So the answer is,
Hashem was come before.
so why does God call it Yerushalayim instead of Shalem Yireh? So the answer is, you can't have Shalem if you don't have Yirat Hashem. You want Shalem? First you have the Yirat Hashem. No Yirat Hashem, there's no Shalem. So therefore the Yirah comes before Shalem. So Yerushalayim. So why do we pronounce it Yerushalayim? It's written Yerushalayim. So why is it Yerushalayim? Why do we pronounce it with a Yud when it's written without a Yud? So the answer is, in Hebrew, a Yud makes it plural. Regel, Raglayim. Ozen, Oznayim. Shen, Shinayim. Yad, Yadayim. In Hebrew, the Yud makes it plural. So even though it's written Yerushalayim, we pronounce it Yerushalayim because the Yud makes it plural. Because there's a heavenly Jerusalem, there's an earthly Jerusalem. There's a guf and the shama. Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim. The Yud makes it plural. The heavenly Jerusalem and the earthly Jerusalem, just like guf and the shama, where did they merge? On Temple Mount. On Temple Mount. And therefore, it's the holiest place in the universe where heaven and earth come together. The guf and the neshama, the heavenly Jerusalem, and the earthly Jerusalem meet. So we put the yud to make it plural. If you take a look at your sheets, on side number 3, what's amazing is, side number 3,
So what the Hebrew out of
yeah. Now we discussed last time, Yom Ha'atzmaut, that Pasuk Gimel is a 5708 verse in the Torah. We discussed that last time, that Pasuk Gimel, V'shav Hashem Elkecha Shivutcha, God will bring back your captivity and gather you and bring you back. Look at Rashi, please, in Pasuk Gimel. Rashi Pasuk Gimel on the left side. You see that? V'shav Hashem Elkecha Shivutcha. God will bring back your captivity. So Rashi says on the left side, Hoyalon lichtov v'heshiv. God will bring back your captivity. What do you mean V'shav and he will return? Rabbi Seinu Lamdu Mekan says Rashi on the left side, Shashchina kaviyochol shruya im Yisrael b'tzaras galosam. When the Jews are in exile and suffer, the Shechina is with them. Ukeshenegolin, and when the Jewish people are redeemed, hichtiv gula la'atzmo. God writes about himself that he himself is what? Redeemed. Therefore it says, V'shav, he himself will return. It's written twice in Pasuk Gimel. See that? V'shav, it's written twice. Says Rashi, because when the Jews are in Galut, God is Galut with us. I'm reading Rashi. I'm reading Rashi Gimel. Rashi Posek Gimel. I said number 3, right? Side
number 3, but I don't see Rashi.
Says number 3, Rashi Gimel. See highlighted in the left column, right? So therefore it says Vishav that when the Jews go into exile, God goes with us into exile. V'od yesh lefaresh. I'm reading Rashi on the left side there. It's highlighted, side number 3. V'od yesh lefaresh. Shegodol yoim kibitz goliot bekoshi. Ki ilu hu atzmo tzorech lios oches beyodav mamash. Yiddish ish bimkomo. Rashi says that when the galut ends and Mashiach comes, God will have to extricate each Jew bekoshi. What does bekoshi mean? With great difficulty, to schlep them out of Borough Park and Teaneck and Lakewood. Who oches beyodav mamash. God kavioch will have to what? Yiddish Avram. Grab every Jew by his hand from his place and schlep them out because they won't want to what? Leave. That's Rashi. And then Rashi goes on, in Yushanema va'atem tiliktu la'achat echad b'nei Yisrael. Rashi quotes a pasuk in Yeshayahu, Rashi there in the bottom. You have it, Masha? Right? That God will collect each Jew and schlep them out of Galut, even from Williamsburg. V'af begoliot shar umot motzinu kain. And Rashi quotes a pasuk in Yirmiyahu, V'shafti shivut Moav, and I will bring back the captivity from Moab. What does Moab mean? What does Moab mean? Moab, the Zohar says, is the Arab nations. Sarah, you sitting down for this? Now, I know this first-hand experience. V'shafti shivut Moab. Rashi quotes a pasuk near Yirmiyahu. The word Moab means the Arab nations. There are many Jewish girls that are held captive by the Arab nations. They come to Pisgat Zev, they come to the Kenyan, and Abu Mamzer calls himself Avi, and Musa calls himself Moshe, and what's his name? Ishmael calls himself Izzy, and Avi and Yossi, and Yusuf is Yossi, and they come with gifts and presents. They prey on Jewish girls that are forlorn. Nebuch. And they capture them and they take them to their villages, to Shuafat, Bet Hanina. And then when they discovered out that the Yusuf is not Yossi Yusuf, they beat the devil out of them and they keep them captive. So God promises that when Mashiach comes, Shafti Shivut Moab, all the captives will be released, even the captive Jewish girls being held today by Moab. But anyway, if you turn the sheet over, on the other side, why is Yerushalayim? Yerushalayim is the original D.C. Now, Begin told Carter in 1979 that before there was a Washington, D.C., there was Jerusalem, D.C. Now, Chanoch, what's D.C.? David's capital. That's what Menachem Begin, Zechariah Lavracha, told Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer. Our D.C. is before your D.C., Jimmy. David's capital. The original D.C.
It was also put between two tribes to make peace.
Right.
Just like they chose Washington, D.C. between two states to make peace.
So it's 667 times in Tanakh. How come it's not written once where? In the Torah. So we're going to get to that. Why not once in the Torah? Why not once? It's just amazing that last Shabbat we read Pashas B'chukotai, which always comes out around Yom Yerushalayim. In Pashas B'chukotai, the Torah tells us, V'rotchu mikem chamisha meya, 5 IDF soldiers will pursue and capture 100 of the enemy, umeya mikem, and 100 IDF soldiers, revova yudufu, will pursue and capture 10,000. That's the great blessing in Pashas B'chukotai. In the 6-day war was a bigger miracle, because Rav Goren and his driver captured the whole city of Hebron, which then had 38,000 people. Thanks to Rabbi Yaakov, I know that. So bigger miracle than Pashat B'Chakotai, where the Torah says 100 IDF soldiers will capture 10,000 of the enemy, 100. In the 6-day war, you can Google it, Rav Gorin and his driver captured not 10,000, captured the whole city of Hebron. The chief chaplain and his driver captured the whole city of Hebron, 38,000. So the 6-day war was a much greater miracle than what the Torah even promises. What? In Pashat B'Chakotai, there it's only 100 capturing 10,000. Mechemet Sheshet Hayomim, it was 2 capturing 38,000. Eza Nishim, that we should be grateful and appreciate and give credit to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we say Hallel today, right? With a bracha, right? With a bracha. And thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the great miracles that He did and He does for us constantly. That these are miracles among miracles predicted in Pashat B'Chakotai, but bigger than those miracles. Now, if you look at your sheet where it says Yom Yerushalayim, see that? Yerushalayim, I think it says the original DC, doesn't it? Yep. Before District of Columbia, David's capital. So Yerushalayim is not in the Torah, but it's mentioned in Tilim. If you look at Tilim Kuf Lamed Zayin, it says Zechor Hashem et Yom Yerushalayim. What's amazing about that? Tilim Kuf Lamed Zayin, Elisheva, Psalm 137 says Zechor Hashem et Yom Yerushalayim. God, remember Jerusalem Day. What's amazing about this Psalm Kuf Lamed Zayin, if you get a Svardi Tilim, each day of the week, each day of the month, there's a different psalm. Kuf Lamed Zayin is for the 28th day of the month. What's today, Rabbi Abraham? The 28th day of the month. Koach Iyar. How did King David know 3,000 years ago in Kuf Lamed Zayin to write Zechor Hashem et Yom Yerushalayim? God remember Jerusalem Day, which is a psalm which is recited when? On the 28th day of the month. And today happens to be Abraham. 28. Quinky Dinky? No. Shirley, Quinky Dinky? I don't think so. You don't need any Bible codes. Shoshana. 28th day of the month. Look in the Svardi, they have each day of the month a separate psalm. The 28th day of the month is Psalm Kuf Lamed Zayin. Today's the 28th day of the month, Yom Yerushalayim, and God says to the mouth of King David, Zechor Hashem et Yom Yerushalayim. Jerusalem Day, that's pretty amazing. But the question is, why is Jerusalem not in the Torah? 667 in Tanakh, Rabbi Yaakov, 667, June 67. Why is it not in the Torah? If you look at source number 6, see source number 6, there's an arrow there. This is the Rambam Moreh Nevuchim. See, I have it underlined. Madua lo yiskiru beferish b'Torah. Why is it not written beferish in the Torah the name what? Jerusalem. Elon mirmas olav. It's only hinted at. B'nemash yifchar Hashem, the place that God will choose. Why does the Torah beat around the bush and it doesn't mention Jerusalem what? Clearly. So the Rambam has that question in source number 6 where it's underlined. So the Rambam says, Yesh bekach ledatish sholosh chochmot. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Jerusalem is not written in favorish in the Torah. You see that? I have it underlined. Ha'achat, number 1, kidei shachziku ba'amim l'chama olav l'chama kasha kasha yodu shamokim hazeh matarat haTorah b'chol olam. Reason number 1, if God would write Jerusalem in the Torah clearly, the Canaanites would what? Utterly destroy it and make it uninhabitable. To spite us, they would turn it into a moonscape, make it totally uninhabitable, so therefore the Torah had to be hush-hush. Reason number 1, not to write it mefarish. V'hashenit, see that you have the Yehuda V'hashenit, the second reason why Jerusalem is not mentioned in the Torah. Huh? See that? We said that. We said that what? First of all, reason number one is that all the nations would fight over it and destroy themselves and the city. Reason number two, that they would sabotage and make the place uninhabitable. V'hashlishit. See that? V'hashlishit. And the third reason why it's not mentioned in the Chumash, hu yota chashuva, says the Rambam, yota chashuva, kidei shelo yevakesh kol shevet shezehu b'nachlosa yichbar shoto. Yiddish, if God would write Jerusalem the Torah, all the Shvatim would what? Quarrel over it. And there'd be a machlokis just like by Korach, just like Korach argued against the kahuna. Chanoch, God knows his customers. So therefore he made a Watergate. We're not going to mention Jerusalem. I saw what the kahuna did to Korach. You guys are going to fight and quarrel over the city, so I'm not naming it. Yiddish, and therefore it's not named until Tanakh, he says, only when there's a king, and the king will unite the tribes and get rid of the machlokas, only then is Jerusalem what? Mentioned. So that's the Rambam's reasons. I have my own reason why Jerusalem is not mentioned in the Torah. If you look in the last verse in Yecheskel, God will change the name of Jerusalem. It won't be called Jerusalem, it'll be called Hashem Shema. The last verse in Yecheskel says that God will change the name of the city. It'll be called Hashem Shama. Over there, Hashem Shama. Shama, God is over there. Or the Talmud Bava Basra says, you can also read it, Hashem Shema, God is her name. Hashem Shema, God is there. Or Hashem Shema, God is her name. So since Yecheskel tells us that the name of the city will what? Change. So therefore, Jerusalem can't be in the Torah because the name will change. Now, where's Yecheskel coming from, Rabbi Avraham? Everything in the Navi has to have a source where? In the Torah. How can Yecheskel say that the name will change? Where's the source in the Torah? Please look at source number 1 on your sheet. See source number 1? Devarim 12. Now keep in mind, Yecheskel says the name of the city will be Hashem Shama. Hashem Shama, which means God is over there, or what? God is her name, right? It's the last pasuk in Ezekiel. So the Talmud Bava Basra says you can read it Hashem Shama, God is over there, or Hashem Shema, God is her name. The city will be God's name. So therefore, the name will change, Chanoch. Therefore, it can't be written in the Torah. But everything in the Navi, Chanoch, has to have a source where? In the Torah. Where's Yecheskel coming from? Fasten your seatbelts. Look at source number 1, Rabbi Yaakov. Source number 1. You see that? This is from Devarim Yud Bet. Imhel HaMakom. HaMakom, the place. Asher Yivchar Hashem Elokeichem, that Hashem your God will what? Choose. Mikol Shiftechem, for all your tribes. Losum Eshimo Sham, to place his name there. L'shichno. What does the shichno mean? The word Shechina. Tidrushu Uba'ata. What's the next word, Yehuda? Uba'ata. What? Over there, over there. You see it, Sarah? Uba'ata Shama. So the pasuk is hinting that the new name of the city will be what? Shama. So Ezekiel is not inventing anything. No, a Navi can't invent anything. So my humble opinion, this is the source. Source number 1, Devarim 12, Uba'ata Shama.
What verse?
Source number 1. You have it on your sheet. Devarim 12, source number 1. I underlined it even. I even underlined it. Number one. U'ba'ata shama. And that's the same phrase that Ezekiel used, that the name of the city will be Hashem Shama. And that's why the name of the city is not in the Torah, because the name will change. So all of the envelopes that said Jerusalem, you're going to have to change the envelopes. The zip code will be the same, but the envelopes will have to say Hashem Shama. I still use. I'm proud of myself. I read over the weekend that Bibi says he's tech-free. He's gadget-free. Bibi said he has no computer, he has no cell phone, he has no car. He says he's free.
No credit card.
What?
So I'm in good company. I'm also tech-free.
He has a driver.
I'm like Bibi. I'm not joking, Elishav. He said he's not mishubad. How do you say that? He's not enslaved to his dumb phone, his smartphone, his computer. Like people are spaced out. He says, I'm free. Wow. You gotta be free. Right? So anyway.
Well, he's got a staff of 10.
Okay. So anyway.
That's so simple for the rest of us.
Let's go back, before we get back to, let's go back to side number 3. What's amazing that, Abraham, you mentioned this, Yom Ha'atzmaut. I'm reminding you. If Pasuk Gimel, in side number 3, see Pasuk Gimel, Chava? That's verse 5708, which is a Jewish state in 48. What's Pasuk Hey? See Pasuk Hey?
What is it?
I have it underlined in yellow. See Pasuk Hey? We said Pasuk Gimel was the 5708 Pasuk in the Torah, which describes what took place in the year 5708. Right? So Pasuk Gimel is 5708. Pasuk Hey is what? 5710, which happens to be the year 1950, when there was a mass aliyah from all over the world to Eretz Yisrael. Mass aliyah in verse 5710, which is the year 1950. If you read 5710, it's describing exactly what took place. See Pasuk Hey? V'yiriach Hashem elokecha el haaretz. God will bring you back to the land. Pasuk Hey, you have that, Masha? Asher yorshu avatecha. That your fathers inherited, v'yirishton, you will inherit her, v'hitivcha, and God will be good to you, v'hirbicha, and God will multiply you more me'avotecha. There are more Jews living in Israel today than ever.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Can I hurry? Getting close to 7 million. So Pasuk Hey, which happens to be the 5710 verse in the Chumash, which corresponds to the year 1950, when there was a mass aliyah from all Jews coming to Israel, and it's exactly described what? In Pasuk Hey. In the text, the last verse on the page, side number 3, I have it underlined in yellow. So everything is in the Torah. Hafochba, vafochba, tukulaba. You don't need any Bible codes. Moshe, you see this? Pretty amazing. Pasuk Gimel is verse 5708. A Jewish state in 48 is described. God will bring you back and have mercy, and He Himself will come back and gather you. And Pasuk Hey, which is 5710, 1950, Mass Aliyah, God brought us back, and that's exactly what took place. So without a Bible codes, the Torah is describing exactly what took place. Each verse in the Torah corresponds to a calendar year. So let's get back to our sheet now. On the other side, Jerusalem. Yerushalayim mikol hasibot sheba'olam. See that, Moshe? Yerushalayim mikol hasibot sheba'olam. Look at source number 4. You see source number 4 on the side that says Yerushalayim mikol hasibot? Source number 4, there's a check there, I think, right?
Yeah.
This is the Ramban. Moshe, you have it? Umalki tzedek melech sholem. The Pasuk in Parshas Lech Lecha says that Malki Tzedek was the king of a place called Shalem. What is Shalem? He Yerushalayim. That's Yerushalayim. Ki inyan shenem he b'shalem sukkot. So what does a Malki Tzedek mean? my king is righteous. Umalki tzedek, my king is righteous. Who's my king? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Malki Tzedek, who happens to be Shem ben Noach, he named the city before Abraham. He called the city what? Shalem. And then Abraham called it Hashem Yireh, Hashem Yireh. Right? So it's not Shalem Yireh, right? Yireh Shalem. Right? So why is Jerusalem so important? So the Ramban goes on in source number 4. See what he says? Umalka Yikra Gambi Yemei Yeshua Adoni Tzedek. In the days of Joshua, the Canaanite king who lived there, he called themselves Adoni Tzedek. Ki ma'os Yadu Hagoyim. Even the Canaanites nation knew that this place is special. Before Abu Mamzer, they knew Ki Amokai Mahu Mifchar HaMekomot. Even the Canaanites knew that Jerusalem is what? The most chosen place on the face of the earth. Even more than Las Vegas. Ube'emtza ha'yishuv. What does that mean? The center of the universe. Oishiyodu ma'alotoik be'kabbalah shehu muchuvan. You see that? It says the word exactly, Yehuda. You have that? What does muchuvan mean? Exactly keneged beis hamikdash shalmala. Even the Canaanites knew that Jerusalem is exactly parallel underneath what? The Bet HaMikdash Shel Mala. Remember we said the earthly Jerusalem is directly parallel underneath what? The heavenly Jerusalem. So we pronounce it Yerushalayim with a Yud, even though there's no Yud there, because we believe in what? Not just in the earthly Jerusalem, and also in the heavenly Jerusalem. Chava, you can't have one without the other. Right? Ubebrachas Rabbah, Sarah. Why did he call it Malki Tzedek? So Malki Tzedek, he called the place Shalem, and he also called it Tzedek. Jerusalem is a place of peace, and also, what does Tzedek mean? Righteousness. Says the Ramban, listen to this, you have it there, I have it underlined, the Bereshis Rabbah. Why did Malki Tzedek call it Tzedek? Bereshis Rabbah, Masha, you have that? It's underlined. Hamokom hazeh matzdik et yoshvav. Wow. This place, matzdik et yoshvav. What does that mean? How do you say that in English, Abraham? Matzdik et yoshvav. No?
Righteousness.
Matzdik gives righteousness to the inhabitants. Somehow, by living in Jerusalem, we become righteous. Wow, that's why the rents are so expensive here. It's worth it, Moshe. The Holy Nachmanides says, "Hamokom hazeh matzdik et yoshvav." It's worth the price, Elisheva. You know that, right? It gives tzedek to its inhabitants. So let's appreciate the schus that we have by living in the center of the universe. Directly parallel underneath the Mokom HaMikdash Shel Mala. Wow, over here it's a local call.
That's right.
Right? A local call, right?
Right.
Now, I hope everybody said Hallel today, but I'm not so sure. I think some Haredim didn't. Sarah, I just don't understand it, because look at source number 9. Number 9. The Khatam Sofer was a super Haredi rabbi who lived in Hungary in the early 1800s. Moshe. You can't get more Haredi than him. You can check it out. The Khatam Sofer. The greatest rabbi in Europe in the early 1800s. And look what he says, and I wrote it verbatim, Shoshana. Source number 9. You with me? I have it underlined in yellow. Khatam Sofer Yoredeya Simin Reish Lamed Gimel. Okay? He says as follows, Yehuda. You have it? It's in yellow. The Kviat Yom Moed Biyom Asiyat Nes Umin Torah. To establish a holiday on the day when a miracle happened to the Jewish people, it's a mitzvah min Torah to make a yontif and say Hallel when a miracle happened to the Jewish people. Kimo, what's the next word, Sarah? Kimo? Chanukah Purim. The Chassam Sofer compares today, even though he don't know about today, but he says when a miracle happens to the Jewish people, who can deny the miracle that happened today? It's a yontif kemo Chanukah and Purim. Halelu Megillah Kal V'chomer. You hear what the great Rabbi says? You should say Hallel in Megillah Kal V'chomer Loimer Shira. Certainly you should say Shira. What does Shira mean? Hallel Kemo BePesach L'saper Nisim Shal Yitzias Mitzrayim Mimoves L'chaim. Just like Pesach, just like Chanukah, God saved us from what? Movet L'chaim. What does that mean, Yehuda? From death to life? Chayiv Lo Mashira. You have to say Hallel. So Chassam Sofer, if he was alive today, Rabbi Abraham would be shocked that his fellow Haredim, surely, are not saying Hallel. Now, I don't understand. Some people say, don't confuse me with the facts. But yet, Shoshan, it's Chassam Sofer talking. He said it's a mitzvah in our Torah to establish a yontif and say Shira, i.e. Hallel, when a miracle happened to Jewish people. Like Chanukah and Purim. The miracle that took place in the 6-day war was any less than Chanukah and Purim? Chav, I think it was greater. You know what went on there? The Arabs were threatening to have a Holocaust here. You know, the rabbinate, they designated public parks for huge graveyards. They thought there's going to be thousands of casualties.
There were plenty. Yeah.
There were plenty, but thousands? They were digging graves, thousands. So the miracle surely that took place is greater than Chanukah and Purim. So if you say Hallel on Chanukah, says the Chassam Sofer, you should certainly say Hallel what? On Yom Yerushalayim. I just don't understand it.
What made Dayan give them out to the
What made him? I don't know. He had a juk barosh. How do you say it in English? How do you say juk barosh? How do you say juk barosh in English?
Cockroach in there.
Nebuch.
He couldn't see well.
I don't know. He only had one eye. What do you want? He couldn't see straight.
Rabbi Sprecher,
Yes.
you know, quite a few boys were killed getting coming to the hotel.
That's right.
Akila Weed comes to the hotel, goes over, looks for that team, finds one, and says, please teach me the Shema.
Right. Rechanan Torah told the story. I cried, Shirley, when I saw that. I cried when Shirley was referring to a film that they showed last week. Chanan Parat Zechroin Elavracha. He was a paratrooper who liberated the old city. And he had a comrade of his. So he comes to the wall. You know, Chanan Parat is davening. And the comrade, his friend, says, you know, he's so moved by the miracle. He says, I want to pray. So he says, pray. He says, I don't know how to pray. So Hanan says to him, say Shema. He says, I don't know what Shema is. I was brainwashed. I grew up in a secular kibbutz. My heritage was stolen from me. I don't even know what the Shema. So Hanan says, repeat after me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. This guy who never said Shema in his life, he said Shema with such kavanah. Hanan said that even the high priest on Yom Kippur wouldn't daven like that. With his tears, he couldn't stop sobbing. The Shema Yisrael, the first time in his life, he broke down, and all the pent-up frustration that his heritage was stolen from him came out. Hanan Parat said, never saw a guy say Shema with such feeling, such emotion, such tears. Yesh koinoi alamoy b'shah achat. The Talmud says a person can acquire his entire eternity in what? One moment.
Wow.
Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, the great Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, the one who wrote the Mishnah. Story of Rabbi Elazar ben Dardoi. Remember that story? The Talmud in Avodah Zarah testifies that this guy was a real Russia. A real Russia. And one day he took himself in the hand and he says, what's going to be with me? What's going to be with me? Right? So he began to sob, and he began to sob, and he was so torn that he just couldn't live with himself. From the great anguish, he had a stroke and he died amidst tshuva. So Rabbi, the great Yehuda Anasi, a baskol came out and said, Elazar ben Dadoy muzman l'chai olam haba. Rabbi Elazar ben Dadoy, this guy's going straight to olam haba. Gemara Avodah Zarah. So Rabbi cried. Rabbi said, I have to work my entire life to get olam haba. And this guy, his whole life he was a Saturday Night Fever guy. Night fever, night fever. He was a disco boy. And in 1 minute what? He gets olam haba. Rabbi cried. Why did Rabbi cry? Was he jealous? I got to work all my life to get olam haba. And this guy gets it in a minute. What? It shows God's mercy, right? And not only that, they called him Rebbe. The Baskol said, Rabbi Elazar ben Dardoi. This guy never studied. God gave him smicha. Not only did God give him olam haba in a moment, God gave him smicha. I got to work all my life to get smicha. So why did God give him smicha? Because he taught the halacha that sometimes you can gain your olam haba in 1 moment. Wow. That magic moment. Each one of us has a magic moment that we are what? Born and created for. Right? You got to know what that magic moment is. How do you know? If it's something very difficult that you don't want to do. You really don't want to do it. It's very difficult, but you know that you should do it. But you don't want to do it. It's going to cost you money, effort, anguish, embarrassment, but you know you should do it. That's your magic moment. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Or they go shopping. Right? Right? So, Lufum Tzara Agra, according to the Mishnah, the shortest Mishnah in Shas, by the way. 3 words. Lufum Tzara Agra. Shortest Mishnah in Shas. According to the pain is the gain. The more pain a mitzvah costs you, right? And time and money and effort, whatever, the greater is what? The reward. And that's your magic moment. Because easy come, easy go. So we have to what? Appreciate. Look at source number 10. I'm glad I came to. Source number 10. It's underlined in yellow. You have it, Shirley? Source number 10, that's the verse in Hallel that we said today. Zeh hayom asa Adonai nagila v'nismacha bo. Now, how does the English translate that, Yehuda? Let's see if they're right.
And I will rejoice in it.
No. So you can't always trust Art Scroll. Zeh hayom asa Adonai. This is the day that God made. Nagila v'nismacha bo. And I will rejoice. What does bo mean? In Him, not it. In Him. Today we have to rejoice in Him. You can't always trust the English. Zeh hayom asa Adonai negila v'nismacha bo. Today is the day to rejoice in Him.
Because He made the
Bo means Him, not it. Ask any Opan teacher. Today we have to rejoice in Him for the great gift that He gave us. The miracles bigger than Hanukkah. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein said it, not me. He said Mechemet Sheshet Hayomim was a bigger ness than Hanukkah, he said. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. We appreciate it. To rejoice. Rabbi Rebbe also said that. Chabadniks say Hallel today. The Chabadniks say. Even though Yom Ha'atzmaut they don't say, but today they say, Shirley, Baruch Hashem, I've seen the light.
Why is that, Rabbi?
Why? It's because the Lubavitcher Rebbe said today was a bigger nest than Hanukkah. He didn't say it about Yom Ha'atzmaut, but he said it about Yom Mechemet Sheshet Hayomim. Yeah, out of Farbrengen he said it. Okay? So therefore the Chabadniks do say Hallel today, Baruch Hashem. And if we say Hallel, if we thank God for the miracles, then we'll get more miracles. But if you don't thank Him, then why should He give us more? That's good point, right? Good point. So, Baruch Hashem, let's enjoy the day. Let's rejoice in Him. With a capital H, right? To rejoice, appreciate the day. At 4 o'clock, they're having a parade of flags to the hotel. 4 o'clock today.
So the train will be shut down. A lot of stuff.
The train will be shut down at 4 o'clock, so good for exercise, right? A good walking, right?
It's a beautiful day, just a little warm.
Right. And enjoy the day. We meet Thursday, 2 o'clock. Here, current events in the Haftorah. It's Thursday at 2. Thank you very much. Chag Sameach. Chag Sameach.